Hi, I am so glad to have you on Open Hand Farm today. My name is Penny, and if you haven't been here before, my goal is to encourage you in different areas of life. And today I want to show you my garden and encourage you to have a garden if you feel like you can't. We're going to start out by showing you lots of color in my mother's deck flower garden. Let me come in closer. We got lots of bees. We're waiting for the hummingbirds to come and try these out. So far, we've only seen a couple. Now we're gonna head down to my backyard garden where I have a lot of plants that I almost pulled out this year. I have to be honest, at one point I thought, I don't even know why I'm having a garden. I felt like I was so far behind. My seedlings were not doing well. They were so tiny when I planted them. I mean, they were like this big, some of them. My basils were this big. They barely had 2 leaves. But I did it. And I'm really glad I did. You guys, sometimes it just seems like it's not going to work. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm not gonna lie. I've had some things that didn't take off like I thought they would. But I have to show you. I know that the ones that have seen my garden before knows that I have not been able to grow zucchini or yellow squash for 4 years. And this year I planted like 8 yellow squash, 8 zucchini. I was like, as they die, I'll just pull them out because I knew they were gonna die. And they didn't. So now I am constantly cutting squash and contacting my friends and family and saying, hey, I've got squash and I cannot eat it all. I picked it all this morning, but I will be picking it again tomorrow because I am seeing some. There's some zucchini. There's some over there. I'm not seeing any yellow right now, but the zucchini really hide from me. I don't know about you guys, but oh, I see some yellow. But I will walk by and look at a zucchini plant 15 times and then say, oh my gosh, there's a big zucchini. So this is what my plants look like now. It is the middle of July. We have had 90-some degree weather, no rain. We keep hearing we're going to get rain and we don't. And this week we had a groundhog dig through them. So right here is the path that the groundhog took. So I'm going to have to come in here and I'm gonna have to dig this plant up and just try to make it look better in here. Although I don't want to because this part still looks okay. So I think I'm gonna leave that, maybe cut off some of that. I don't know what to do actually because I don't want to take it out if I don't have to. I'm seeing some more yellow squash in here and down here. Look at that. Now I am getting some squash bugs finally. I cannot believe it has taken this long. I did not check for eggs today and I might be sorry because there's some right there. Because I've also, when I'm checking for eggs, sometimes I'm seeing the little bitty nymphs that are just hatched and I'm collecting those with my tape also. But I was so concerned today about this hedgehog damage, there's another zucchini, that I didn't look for squash bugs. I am getting some diseased looking leaves here. We have these lovely cucumber beetles. Oh, there's some squash bugs, lots of them. See the nymphs? Man, I wish I had my tape out here with me right now, but I don't. So maybe they'll be there later when I come back out. I am going to have to cut some of these leaves off. As you can see, part of them are starting to die back here. But I have been saying, God, if this is the end of this harvest, I will still praise you and be thankful for what I have gotten. I was going to add up the number of pounds before I started the video, and I forgot to. So I will put that in here on the screen, how many pounds of yellow squash and zucchini squash I have harvested in the last 2 months. Another thing that was so tiny when I put in the ground, and twice I lifted the cloth and was like, I'm pulling it out. I'm going to use this space for something else. It's not going to grow. And that was my cabbages. Now I harvested my Chinese cabbage, so I have a video of that, but I've only harvested one head of my just regular cabbage, but there's more to harvest. I'm going out of town this weekend, so I'm going to wait till I get back in town, but let me show you. Look at these. Okay, this is where I harvested the one. This one isn't quite as big. I'll leave it. This one is still working on it too, but look at this gorgeous head. And then this one could use a little more growth also. There's some kind of bug in there. Is that a squash bug? Yes, it is. Not anymore. Okay. So, like I said, I was going to pull these out and not even let them grow. So don't give up, you guys. I mean, obviously, if it were the end of July, early August, and they were still tiny little plants, yes, I would pull them out and maybe plant a new batch for a winter crop. I also got my cucumbers started really late, and I've been getting a lot of those. So let me show you though, because I am having some problems. First of all, they're hot and they are more of a cool weather crop, but also cucumber beetles. I can't help it. They are there. I don't know how to keep them away. If you guys have a suggestion, let me know. Parts of my plants are dying, but I'm still getting a crop. So you'll see I'm still getting several baby ones, some bigger ones. I'm letting these grow just a little bit. I'm taking them to my sister. I wanted them to be a little bit bigger than the snacking size that I have been picking for us. But there are plenty on here, but look how sad this plant looks. I watered it this morning, but it does not want city water. It wants rainwater. And we have been teased with chances of rain all around us and have not gotten any. And we are, like I said, in the high 90s, and they just need it. Now, I have added soaker hoses to my tomatoes. Look at these, you guys. These things are massive. I don't know that I've ever had tomatoes this big. I'm just afraid that when it rains, they're going to split. Some of them are kind of splitting now because they're so big. I came through here and trimmed all the bottom leaves off, and I supported the stems better because they were like sagging from all the weight of the tomatoes. So I'm hoping they will do okay and not drop to the ground and be unhappy. I don't know if you can see this one, it's massive. And then there's new ones coming on, new blooms. So that's not the end of them. This one I really had to trim up because it had a lot of suckers, so you can really see the tomatoes on it. But then I do have a casualty. It still had some tomatoes on it, so I'm leaving it and just see what happens. These are my slicing tomatoes. Look at all this beauty. I love this so much. And this trellis is mostly my San Marzano tomatoes, which you can see are setting on beautifully. So many tomatoes. They're just everywhere. I love it. But I do also have a few of the Amish paste tomatoes down here. And they look a little different. They are setting on round. Let me find one for you here. There it is. They are more round, and they're going to be really big tomatoes also. Here's more San Marzano. They're doing tremendously. I really think the soaker hose has helped. I want to tell you about this plant right here. This plant was planted in memory of my dad. My dad was a cotton farmer, and he would miss out on school because they had to pick cotton. And one day, Mark and I went to an old house site and there was cotton planted, and I picked some of the cotton and I took it home to him, and I said, "Dad, what is this?" And he said, "Oh, that's cotton balls." I said, "No, feel of it." And he could feel the seeds in there. And he said, "Oh my gosh, that's cotton." And then he said, "Can we plant it?" So we planted him a cotton plant, and he watched it grow, and he was so proud when it got cotton on it. So this year, since his passing, I found those cotton seeds and I went ahead and planted some. I didn't know if they would take off, but they're doing very well. I can't wait to see the cotton that comes on it and show my grandkids where cotton comes from, so that you can see the tallest plant in my garden. Let me zoom in. That is a sunflower that I planted just on the other side of the chicken run, so that when it drops its seeds, they might be able to kind of stick their heads out and grab some off the ground. Now right here is another big one, not quite as big, but it's still growing. And then in the middle here, this is the Kiss Me Over the Garden Gate. Let me go closer to that. This is so cool. It has these flowers, little pink hanging down flowers, and I think I planted it in the wrong spot. I had no idea it would get this tall. So it's going to be shaded out by the tomatoes by the time they get over the top of this trellis. But also, it is so big. It had side shoots coming out way over here. So I had to cut the side shoots off to kind of control it. You can see if I turn it this way, there's a side shoot coming off that I left because it was going back instead of sideways. So anyway, that's a really cool plant. And next year, I will probably plant one again, but I will definitely find a better place for it. Now, next to the chicken run, we have a new side garden that has onions that are doing well, not as well as the ones over by the cucumbers, which I forgot to show you. Something keeps running on these and knocking their tails down. And also, they're just not getting as much sun at this end as they are at this end. So in the future, this is not the place to plant onions, unless I'm gonna do a double row just right here. Now these are our peppers, and we are starting to get some. They are growing right along. And these are the, I can't say it, it's Ajvarowski. I don't know how to say it, guys, sorry. But they are doing really well. Lots of blooms coming on. And again, not as much sun because of this hackberry tree, but we do plan on getting it trimmed up in the spring, so that will help a lot. Then we have our dragon tongue green beans, and they've been doing okay. More peppers, and they are doing well also, starting to get some. And these will get long and red or yellow, like this one is already getting pretty long. Lots on these. They're doing quite well. Ooh, this one's got lots of them. So that's really exciting. There's some more big ones. This is really exciting. Then we have, after these, we have a couple of eggplants, and we're starting to get some blooms there. Of course, we have bugs on them. I should have covered them, and I didn't. And we have one plant of beets that I just stuck there when a green bean died, and then more green beans that are doing very well. You'll see that I have weeds in between here. I have a sweet friend that's coming over tomorrow to help me with that. And this area here, all along the chicken coop, there is chicken wire. See if you can see it here, over this. So what I need to do is lift the wire up, clean all this out, and then peg the wire back down again, and maybe put some mulch there. But that's for another day. Now, let me just tell you some sweet alyssum here. So nice to repel some bugs and be helpful to the garden. This, my friends, is what can happen if you are brave enough to put a seed in the ground. These plants, I'm trying to think, let me see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that correct? 9 or 10. So let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on, I'm going to show you something. 9, 10. You see these? These 10 seeds. Each seed poked in the ground right here in 10 different spots made this much plant. This to this. Oh my word. I cannot even tell you, I can't show you all of the pumpkins that are in here. You can see some here. There's 1, 2, these are the newer ones. And then we have baby ones coming on. Let's see, lots of little baby ones coming up there. There's one right there. So that's 3 that I can definitely say is a pumpkin. 3, let me see what I can find. Really big one there. 4, more up in here. Another big one up there. 5, more babies all down in there. Oh, more babies in there. I can't even see them all. Okay, then we have, those are the field pumpkins. Then we have this pumpkin, which is the new kind that I'm trying, that has a very long neck and is similar to a butternut, which you can see looks similar. That one's getting big, and these are trailing off. I told my husband, I said, they're just going to go in the grass, mow around them. Don't worry about it, it'll be fine. I also have some butternut squashes. You can see all down in there, as well as all down in there. And these are actually some of the Long Island cheese pumpkins. And I think I showed you all of these pumpkins the other day. Down here we have some of the butternut, I believe. Yeah, those are butternuts. And they're climbing along. Then we have the Long Island cheeses. Let me see. Oh, yep. Here we go. More of those. You guys, I don't know if I told you or if you saw my other video. I got like three pumpkins last year, and that was the end of it. No butternuts. It was pretty sad. And these vines are still growing with female flowers on them. Here's another little bitty one. There's more, little and big. There's some down in here, but I can't show them to you right now. I can't get to them. There's a pretty big one right under here. And more that are coming. It's just insane. So here's the deal. If you think gardening has to do with your thumb being green or black, you're wrong. Gardening has to do with these tiny little things that these aren't even that tiny. Some of the seeds of the plants that I planted are so tiny that you cannot plant one. They're just so tiny. And this seed has life in it. This seed wants to live. It wants to grow. You just need to put it in the soil, water it, pray over it if you're a praying person, because let me tell you, I've done a lot of that this year. And this seed will come to life. Look how thin that seed is. It will come to life and it will give you food. It wants to live. You don't have to will it to live. It wants to live. So that's all I'm going to show you today, because that's a lot. Like, I can't even wrap my head around all the produce that I am going to have from this garden, simply because I put seeds in the ground. Now, I will say these tomato seeds I did not put in the ground. I put them in dirt, in a pot, in the house, and they came to life there, and then I brought them out here. But all of these pumpkins, every last one of these pumpkins, they were planted in the ground. I did not grow them inside. I just stuck them in the ground and watered them. And this is what happened. I hope that I have encouraged you to not worry about the color of your thumb, but to just take some seeds and put them in the ground. You're not too late, probably, for a fall garden, depending on where you are. Check out your zone. I'll leave a link here. And also, check out your extension office, and they can tell you what you should plant when. At least most of them will. If you start a garden and you've never gardened before, or if you've started and just felt like your thumb was black, start it again and let me know how it did. Put it in, start it, water it. Thank you so much for coming along on this garden tour. And until next time, blessings to you and your garden.